If you want to achieve your goals, you have to push yourself harder than ever before. It's not about waiting for the right moment or feeling motivated all the time. It's about taking control, even when it's tough, even when you don't feel like it. This video is about the kind of action that changes everything. The kind of action that keeps you moving forward. No matter what stands in your way, you'll learn why holding yourself responsible when no one is watching matters more than anything else. This isn't just about quick wins or easy answers. It's about building a mindset that forces you to keep going, day after day, even when it feels impossible. If you're ready to stop making excuses and start seeing real progress, this message is for you. Stick with it and discover how to turn your goals into results by taking control of your own actions and choices. Let's begin. Number 1, wake up early, even when you feel exhausted. Waking up early when you feel exhausted is a decision that separates the serious from the comfortable. It's not about being extreme. It's about taking control when everything in your body tells you to give it away. When the alarm goes off and your first instinct is to hit snooze, that's a test. That's not just a test of your energy. It's a test of your priorities. It's a test of your self-respect. And it's one you need to pass every single day if you truly want to achieve the things you say you want. You don't win the day by staying in bed. You win the day by getting up when it's hard, by showing yourself that your goals mean something to you, that your purpose is more important than your comfort. And when you're exhausted, when your legs feel heavy, when your eyes can barely stay open, that's the moment you show yourself who you really are. Because anybody can get up when they feel great. Anybody can do the right thing when it's easy. But those mornings when you feel broken and you still rise, that's where strength is built. That's when you separate from the crowd. Most people live by how they feel. They let their energy, their mood, their emotions decide what they do. And then they wonder why they never finish anything. They wonder why their life feels stuck. It's because feelings change every day. And if you live by your feelings, your life will swing back and forth with no stability, no direction. But if you learn to live by your decisions instead, things change. You can feel tired and still choose to move. You can feel uninspired and still do the work. And waking up early, especially when you're exhausted, is the foundation of that mindset. Waking up early gives you the edge. It gives you time to think, time to plan, time to execute without distractions. The world is quieter, fewer interruptions, fewer messages. Just you and your thoughts, you and your work. And that space is rare in today's world. Most people don't even know what it feels like to own the morning. But if you create that time, even if it's just 30 minutes, it changes everything. You stop reacting to the day and start leading it. But waking up early won't feel good at first. In fact, it might feel terrible. You might feel dizzy, foggy, frustrated. You might want to cry because everything in your body wants to go back to sleep. But if you push through that feeling, even once, you build something important. You build self-trust. You prove to yourself that you don't break when it's uncomfortable. And that confidence, you can carry it into everything else. Work, health, relationships, dreams. It all starts with that one hard decision. Wake up when it's hard. Think of it this way. Every time you force yourself to get up early, especially when you're tired, you're building discipline. And discipline is the ability to do what's right, even when it doesn't feel good. It's the root of every goal you have. Without it, nothing sticks. Without it, your goals are just ideas that float away when life gets inconvenient. But with it, you can build anything. And the beautiful thing about discipline is that it's trained. It's not something you're born with. It's something you earn every time you make the hard decision and follow through. There are going to be days where you stayed up too late, where your sleep was broken, where you just want 5 more minutes under the blanket, and your mind will start negotiating. It'll say you've earned it, that it's okay, that one day won't matter. But that's not the truth. The truth is that one day is everything, that one day is momentum, that one day is your identity. If you give in once, it becomes easier to give in again. But if you win once, you prove you can do it again. You don't have to be perfect. There will be days when you slip, but it can't be your habit. It can't be your normal. Your normal has to be discipline. Your normal has to be doing the hard thing, especially when it's the last thing you want. Because the version of you who reaches your goals isn't sleeping through chances. That version is fighting for every minute. That version shows up early because life doesn't wait. And if you're thinking you're not a morning person, understand this. You don't have to enjoy waking up early. You just have to do it. This isn't about personality. It's about decision. It's about values. Do you value your progress more than your comfort? Do you value your word to yourself more than how you feel in the moment? If the answer is yes, then set the alarm and get up. Not for a trend, not for applause, but because you have work to do, because you have a life to change, because you made a promise to yourself, and you're not going to break it. Waking up early is a way to tell your mind who's in charge. It's a signal. It says we don't follow emotions here. We follow commitment. It sets a standard for the rest of the day. When you get up early, you already won your first battle. You already did something hard. And that feeling carries into every decision you make after that. You'll eat better. You'll think clearer. You'll stay more focused. Not because waking up early changes everything, but because it starts everything in the right direction. And don't wait for it to get easier. It doesn't. You just get stronger. The more you do it, the more normal it becomes. The pain doesn't vanish, but you learn how to deal with it. You stop letting it control you. And that's what this is all about. Control, ownership, choice. You choose the hard path because it leads somewhere. You force yourself to rise when it's hard because the goal matters more than the pillow. You act like your future depends on it because it does. If you want a different life, start with your mornings. They are quiet, they are powerful, and they belong to you. Use them, even when you're exhausted, even when you're tempted to quit. Wake up early, not to prove anything to the world, but to prove something to yourself. You are serious about your life. You are not here to waste time. You are here to win. Number 2, do the hard tasks you always avoid doing. The things you avoid are the things holding you back. Every time you push them aside, they don't disappear. They pile up. They weigh on your mind. They drain your energy even when you're not working on them. You know the ones I'm talking about, the uncomfortable phone calls, the difficult conversations, the overdue responsibilities, the discipline you keep putting off, the projects you start but never finish. These tasks don't go away. They follow you, and the longer you avoid them, the heavier they become. Avoidance is not a strategy, it's a trap. You might think you're buying peace by skipping the hard stuff, but all you're doing is selling your progress. Every time you look at a task and say, "Not now," what you're really saying is "not ever." Because once delay becomes a habit, achievement becomes a fantasy. People don't fail because they can't do something. They fail because they never start what actually matters. Facing hard tasks isn't about having talent or being gifted. It's about building the courage to stop running. It's about teaching yourself that fear doesn't get to decide what you do. Your goals are not going to come from the easy things. They come from the work you keep putting off. That's the work that shapes you. That's the work that moves your life forward. You don't need more time. You don't need more tools. You need to sit down and start. Even if you feel uncomfortable, even if it scares you, the discomfort is temporary. The reward is permanent. Most people think they need to feel ready. That's wrong. You'll never feel ready to do something that makes you uncomfortable. Readiness is a lie we tell ourselves so we can stay the same. Growth doesn't ask if you're ready. It just asks if you're willing. You don't have to finish the hard task today, but you do have to face it. Start with one step. Open the document. Make the call. Send the message. Set the appointment. Begin the research. Just begin. Movement breaks fear. Action crushes hesitation. Once you start, the weight starts to lift. It might still be hard, but at least now you're in control. The hard tasks you avoid are the very steps that unlock the next level of your life. You can stay where it's comfortable, or you can do what needs to be done, but you can't have both. There is no progress without pain. Not because pain is noble, but because doing hard things stretches you. It forces you to become someone new, someone better. You can't get stronger avoiding the very things that would build you. Every time you finish a hard task, your confidence grows. Not because the task was enjoyable, but because you prove to yourself that you can push through. Confidence doesn't come from comfort. It comes from struggle. It comes from doing what most people won't. The people who get ahead in life are not the ones who work the longest. They're the ones who work on the right things, even when they're hard. Avoiding hard tasks creates mental clutter. It creates this quiet stress that follows you everywhere. You can't relax because you know something important is undone. It doesn't matter how much you try to enjoy your day. If something is left hanging over you, it eats at you. Facing the hard things gives you peace. Not because it's easy, but because it's honest. You know you gave your best, you know you didn't run. That peace is earned. You'll never regret doing the hard thing. You'll only regret putting it off. Think about how many things in your life could already be solved if you had just faced them when they showed up. That's not to make you feel guilty. That's to wake you up. You don't have time to keep putting things off. Every day you delay is another day you stay stuck. You don't grow by avoiding. You grow by engaging. You grow by showing up, even when you don't want to. If it's a difficult conversation, have it. If it's a painful decision, make it. If it's a boring but necessary step, complete it. If it's something you've never done before and it makes you nervous, that's the one you need to do first. Most people organize their day around what feels good. But if you organize your day around what moves you forward, even if it's hard, everything changes. The truth is, your goals are on the other side of hard. That's why they're goals and not habits. If they were easy, you'd already have them. But the things that matter most are earned through effort, not convenience. There's no shortcut. The hard things don't get easier with time. They only get more urgent. Face them now, before they grow, before they multiply, before they become something you can't ignore anymore. Start small if you need to. Break it down. Make a list. Tackle one piece. But do not avoid it. Do not pretend it's not there. Avoidance is silent destruction. It chips away at your confidence. It chips away at your ambition. It makes you doubt yourself. The more you run, the smaller you feel. The more you act, the stronger you become. And if you fail at the hard task, that's okay. At least you faced it. At least you didn't hide. Failure doesn't stop you. Avoidance does. When you fail forward, you learn. When you avoid, you stay blind. The only way to figure it out is by doing it. Not thinking, not planning, doing, over and over, until what was hard becomes part of your new normal. Every hard thing you face builds another layer of strength in you. Not overnight, but over time. Consistently showing up for the hard stuff makes you unshakable. It teaches you that you can handle pressure. It teaches you that you are not controlled by fear. That kind of mindset changes every area of your life. It changes how you work, how you lead, how you speak, how you think. There's something powerful about doing the one thing you don't want to do. It changes how you see yourself. You stop feeling like a victim. You stop waiting for permission. You stop saying someday and start saying now. That shift, that's where everything begins. You stop hoping for progress and start building it. One hard task at a time. You already know what you need to do. It's not hidden. It's not complicated. It's just hard. And that's the point. It's hard for everyone. The difference is that some people face it and others avoid it. Which one are you? The choice is made every single day. Not in big dramatic moments, but in quiet ones. You sit down, you begin. You deal with the thing you've been running from. And that's where change lives. Right there, in the hardest part. Number 3, work on your goal. Even when motivation disappears. There will be days when you feel flat, no spark, no energy, nothing pushing you forward. And that's the moment that matters most. When the excitement is gone and you're standing face to face with the reality of what it takes to stay committed, that's where growth lives. Anybody can show up when it's exciting. Anybody can stay consistent when it feels fun. But when the fire goes out and the silence sets in, that's where you find out who you are. Motivation is not a guarantee. It comes and goes. It's affected by your mood, your sleep, your surroundings, even the weather. You can't build your future on something that weak. If you only work when you're motivated, your results will be inconsistent, and your goals will stay out of reach. The people who succeed are not the ones who feel driven all the time. They are the ones who decide to work anyway. You have to stop waiting for a feeling to push you. There's nothing wrong with being tired. There's nothing wrong with feeling off. But there is something wrong with quitting just because it doesn't feel right today. Your goal doesn't care how you feel. Your progress doesn't pause just because your energy is low. If you made a decision to build something, you don't walk away from it just because the emotions are missing. You stick. You move. You continue. Every day you show up without motivation is a win. It proves that your purpose is stronger than your mood. It proves that you're not controlled by the ups and downs of life. That kind of discipline builds character. It makes you mentally stronger. And once you get used to working without needing inspiration, you become unstoppable. You need to train your mind to act, even when your heart isn't in it. That's not weakness, that's power. Because in life, the conditions won't always be ideal. You'll be stressed, you'll be distracted, you'll be overwhelmed. But if you can still take one step towards your goal, in the middle of that chaos, you're moving ahead while most people are standing still. When the excitement fades, routines become your backbone. The habits you've built, the systems you've committed to, those are what carry you. Not some video you watched, not some speech you heard, but the discipline you've trained day after day. If you rely on how you feel to get things done, your results will be unpredictable. If you rely on systems and habits, your results will follow consistency. That's what changes life. Think about the last time you felt highly motivated. It felt good. It made things easier. But how long did it last? A day? Maybe a week? Now think about how many days followed where you didn't feel that drive. Did you stop or did you push through? That's the difference between being interested in something and being committed to it. When you're committed, you keep going even when the internal spark fades. You understand that real progress is built through effort, not emotion. People waste years waiting for motivation to return. They start something strong, then slow down when the feelings drop. They think they've lost something, but they haven't. They just haven't trained the habit of doing the work, regardless of emotion. That habit is the single most valuable thing you can develop. If you want to see your goal through, you don't need to move mountains today. You don't need to produce at your highest level. You just need to do something. A small action, a step, a choice. That's how you build momentum when your mind is tired. You lower the bar just enough to stay consistent, but not so low that you abandon the mission. You keep moving, even if it's slower than usual. Because forward is forward. Discipline isn't loud. It's not flashy. It's quiet, steady, and often boring. But that's where the breakthroughs happen, in the silence, in the repetition. When nobody's watching, when nobody's clapping, that's when you shape your future. If you only work when you feel seen or rewarded, you're not building for the long term. You're chasing attention. And attention fades. But purpose, real purpose, keeps you going even in the dark. There's something honest about working without motivation. It strips away the noise. It forces you to dig into your reasons. Why did you start? What are you trying to build? What would it mean if you gave up now? These questions keep you rooted. They remind you that this journey is not about always feeling good. It's about becoming someone you can be proud of. It's okay to feel low. It's okay to feel numb, but don't let those feelings run your life. If your goal matters, then treat it like it does. Show up when it's uncomfortable. Act when you feel disconnected. Trust the process even when you can't feel the results. Because showing up in those moments is what turns average into great. Not because it's dramatic or exciting, but because it's real. Most people stop at the first sign of resistance. That's why most people don't get very far. But if you've made a decision to change your life, then you need to do the work, even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. That's when the foundation is built. That's when you start to separate yourself There's a quiet kind of pride that comes from finishing a task on a day when everything inside you said not to. That pride can't be bought. It's earned. And the more you build that feeling, the more powerful you become. Not because everything is going your way, but because you've learned to go your way no matter what. There will be moments when you look around and wonder if it's worth it. When nobody notices. When progress feels invisible. When doubt starts whispering in your ear. In those moments, don't stop. Don't overthink. Just do what you plan to do. Stick to the work. That's where your strength is built. Not in the highs, but in the steady, relentless effort that keeps going long after motivation is left. You are not here to be driven by feelings. You are here to finish what you started. That's what makes you different. That's what keeps you climbing. That's what turns effort into achievement. Keep showing up. Keep doing the work, no matter how you feel. Number 4. Say no to comfort and choose progress every time. Every time you're faced with a choice between staying comfortable and doing what will move your life forward. That's a moment of truth. It's not always big or dramatic. Sometimes it's the decision to stay in bed for an extra hour. Sometimes it's the choice to scroll your phone instead of focusing on your plans. Other times, it's choosing to speak up, show up, or take action when it's easier to stay quiet or do nothing. The comfort zone will always be there, calling you, making it easy to stay where you are. But nothing grows in that space. It feels good for a moment, then it quietly steals your future. You're not going to wake up one day and magically become your best self while doing the same easy things. Change takes effort. Growth takes discomfort. You cannot reach new levels with old habits. You cannot become stronger by doing only what you already know. Every goal you've set for yourself requires that you go beyond what feels safe. It's not going to be pleasant. It might feel like work, because it is. But every time you choose progress over ease, you take one step closer to becoming the person you promised yourself you'd be. Comfort feels nice, but it robs you. It takes your edge. It softens your hunger. It teaches you to accept just enough instead of pushing for something more. The reason most people never reach their full potential is because they fall in love with easy. But easy won't give you the life you want. Easy won't build your discipline. Easy won't make you proud at the end of the day. That takes effort. That takes deliberate action. When your whole body wants to relax, you have to rewire your thinking. Stop chasing what feels good in the moment. Ask yourself, what leads to real growth? If it's uncomfortable, if it challenges your thoughts, if it stretches your limits, that's probably the right direction. Comfort wants to keep you exactly where you are. And if where you are isn't enough, then you already know what needs to change. Progress demands that you show up with intention. You won't stumble into achievement by accident. You have to say no to things that slow you down. You have to sacrifice convenience, and not once or twice, but every single day. You'll be tempted to make excuses. You'll hear that voice inside telling you it's okay to skip today, to ease up, to settle. That's not your truth. That's your fear. Your truth is the one that says this matters, even when it's hard. When you say no to comfort, you're not punishing yourself. You're choosing to value your goals over short-term relief. There's a kind of peace that comes from knowing you did the hard thing, even when no one asked you to. That inner confidence builds from making tough choices on your own. It doesn't happen overnight. It's built decision by decision, day after day. Discomfort is the signal that you're breaking limits. It's how you stretch. It's how you adapt. The more you expose yourself to what's hard, the more you grow into it. What once scared you becomes part of your routine. What once drained you becomes your new normal. But it only happens if you're willing to choose that path again and again. People often wait for a better time, a better mood, or a better setup to get serious. But that time rarely comes. If you don't start where you are, you won't start at all. Progress is not built on perfect conditions. It's built on consistent action. That means showing up when you're tired. That means pushing through when you're uncertain. That means doing what needs to be done, even if no one's clapping for you. The most dangerous lie you'll ever believe is that you have time to waste. You don't. Every day that passes without effort is a day you don't get back. Every moment you choose comfort over growth is a moment your future self will have to pay for. You don't get stronger by standing still. You get stronger by moving toward what challenges you. Comfort is easy to fall into. It's all around you. It's in the habits that don't serve you. It's in the conversations that drain your time. It's in the distractions that steal your energy. But you weren't made to stay small. You weren't made to settle for average. You're capable of something greater, but you have to earn it through action. Think about the life you truly want. Think about the discipline, the strength, the focus it's going to take. That version of you doesn't live inside comfort. That version of you lives in the repeated decisions to push past it. That version of you is built when you choose what's right over what's easy. Not once, but daily. You have to be honest with yourself. If you keep saying yes to comfort, you'll stay where you are. You can't have both. You can't stay safe and grow at the same time. You can't keep all your excuses and expect real results. At some point, you've got to decide what matters more, being comfortable or being better. There's no shortcut. There's no trick. You will have to feel tired. You will have to face discomfort. You will have to choose progress when nobody's looking. That's how success is built. Quiet, steady, sometimes painful progress. It's not glamorous, but it's real. Each time you say no to comfort, you strengthen your will. You prove to yourself that you are in control. Not your moods, not your surroundings, not your fears. That power is built every time you act, when it would be easier not to. That power is built when you stop making decisions based on how you feel and start making decisions based on where you want to go. Nobody's going to do this for you. You have to make the trade, comfort or progress. You can't have both. And if your dreams mean anything to you, if your goals hold any weight in your life, then the choice should be clear. Choose what moves you forward. Choose the hard path. Choose growth, even when it costs you comfort, every time. Number 5, push forward daily, no matter how slow it feels. There will be days when it all feels too slow. You'll wonder if the work you're putting in is even making a difference. You'll question whether your pace is enough to get you where you want to go. And that's when most people quit. They stop because it doesn't look impressive. They stop because the wins are too small to notice. But if you understand what real growth looks like, you won't stop. You'll keep going. Because it's not about fast. It's about forward. Progress isn't always obvious. It's quiet. It's slow. It creeps up on you. You don't always see it in the mirror. You don't always feel it in the moment. But it's happening. Every time you choose to do the work, instead of skipping it, you're moving. Every time you say no to giving up and yes to showing up, you're building something real. Most people expect change to be loud and dramatic. But the truth is, it's built in the quiet hours, when no one is watching. Pushing forward every day isn't about speed. It's about not quitting. That's the difference between those who make it and those who don't. The ones who keep going, even when they're not sure it's working. Those are the ones who win, because the small steps you take now create momentum. It might not feel like much, but it adds up. Inch by inch, decision by decision, effort by effort. You're getting close. There will be days when the effort feels heavier than usual. You'll feel tired, maybe even frustrated. Your mind will try to convince you that this slow pace is pointless, that it's not worth it. But that's the exact moment you need to lean in. That's the moment when growth is happening. Even if you can't see it, the people who achieve great things aren't the fastest. They're the most consistent. They don't rely on perfect conditions. They show up anyway. Even when progress is slow, your discipline is strengthening. Your character is forming. You're proving to yourself that you can stay committed when results are not immediate. That's where real power comes from. Not from racing ahead, but from sticking to the plan, when it feels like nothing is moving. That's when you separate yourself from the rest. When you keep pushing while others are taking breaks. You don't need to sprint. You need to stay in the game. You need to stay connected to your purpose. Remind yourself why you started. Remember the picture you had in your mind when you made that decision to chase this goal. That vision matters. And it's not going to come alive unless you keep working for it, even when your pace is slow. This isn't about making people notice. This is about becoming someone you can be proud of. No one gets to skip the slow stages. Everyone who has ever done something worthwhile has gone through them. The doubts, the long days, the moments where everything feels like it's crawling, but they didn't stop. They chose to trust the process. They chose to value daily effort over temporary feelings. That's what made the difference. That's what built the results. If you expect every day to feel exciting, you're setting yourself up to fail. Some days won't feel good. Some days will feel like a grind. But those are the days that count the most. Because when it's not fun, and you still do the work, that's proof you're serious. That's what builds pride. That's what builds trust with yourself. Don't waste time comparing your pace to someone else's. You don't know what stage they're in. You don't know their story. Focus on your own road. Measure yourself by one thing. Did you move forward today? Even 1 inch? That's enough. Because the inches stack up. And one day, without even realizing it, you'll look back and see just how far you've come. The results will come if you keep showing up. They might not arrive on your timeline. They might not look how you expected, but they will come. And when they do, you'll know you earned them because you didn't give up when things were slow. You stayed committed. You kept your word. And that's rare. That's what makes the result feel different. It wasn't handed to you. It was built by effort that no one else saw. Don't underestimate the power of doing one more rep, one more page, one more step. That's how goals are achieved. Not through massive leaps, but through the daily push, the repetition, the refusal to stop. Anyone can be motivated for a few days, but very few have the strength to keep going without applause, without proof, without praise. That strength is yours if you choose it. Every day that you show up, you're becoming better. Maybe not in obvious ways, maybe not in ways you can explain to others, but something inside you is getting stronger. Your mindset is becoming sharper. Your patience is growing. Your belief in yourself is being built brick by brick. And that's the kind of growth that lasts. If you stop now, you go back to zero. You start over, and you know how hard it was to get this far. You know what it took to reach this point. Don't throw that away just because it feels slow. It's supposed to feel slow. Sometimes. That's part of the path. That's part of what makes you value the destination even more. You have what it takes. You've proven it every time you chose to show up when it was easier to stay still. Now do it again. Not because someone's watching, not because the result is guaranteed, but because you said you would. Because this matters. Because you care about who you're becoming. One more day, one more task, one more decision to move forward. There's no timeline on progress. There's no rule that says it has to be quick. To be real, what matters is that you keep moving, that you keep putting in the work, that you don't let the slow days convince you to stop. This is your path. This is your journey. And as long as you keep going, you're winning. Number 6, discipline yourself to stay consistent without seeking results. Most people begin strong. They start with passion. They make plans. They talk big. But as soon as they don't see results, they stop. They tell themselves it isn't working. They convince themselves they're wasting time. That's because they were focused only on the outcome, not the process. And when you chase only the result, you miss the real value. The real win is in who you become by doing the work, day after day, even when nothing shows up. That's where strength is built. Discipline is not about waiting for proof. It's about doing what you said you would do no matter what. It's about showing up again and again without needing a reward. You don't go to the gym once and expect to be strong. You don't eat clean for a week and expect to be healthy for life. You don't study for a day and expect mastery. Real growth happens when you keep going without needing someone to clap for you. The applause doesn't come first. The result doesn't show up to motivate you. It's discipline that keeps you moving. You have to remove the need to constantly see change. If you only feel good when things go your way, you'll be stuck in cycles of starting and stopping. But if you train yourself to stay consistent no matter how things look, you become unstoppable. You stop depending on results to tell you your worth. You stop needing outside confirmation. You learn to trust your actions, not your feelings. That's when your mindset shifts. That's when the real transformation starts. People who win in life do not wait for results to push them. They create habits that run deep. They do what needs to be done, whether they feel like it or not. They treat each day as a vote for who they want to be, and they keep voting. That's how consistency is formed. It's not exciting, it's not dramatic, but it's powerful. And over time, it builds a foundation that nothing can shake. When you stop chasing immediate results, you start seeing things differently. You begin to value discipline over excitement. You start to understand that consistency is about commitment, not reward. There will be long stretches where nothing seems to change. That's when most people quit. That's when they look for something new. But the ones who stay consistent understand something deeper. They know that doing the right thing daily is progress, even if it doesn't feel like it. You have to make peace with the fact that results come late. They don't arrive on your schedule. They don't show up just because you're trying hard. They come to those who stay the course. You don't control when the outcome happens. You control your effort. You control your behavior. And if you let those two things lead, the results will follow in time. Discipline is about keeping promises to yourself. It's about saying, I will do this, and then doing it, whether or not it makes you feel proud in the moment. The more you follow through, the more confidence you build. Not fake confidence, real, earned confidence. That kind of belief doesn't need applause. It doesn't need a trophy. It's built through work you do when no one is watching and nothing is changing. You have to train your mind to find value in the action itself. The workout is valuable whether or not you lose a pound. The writing matters whether or not someone reads it. The studying is worthwhile whether or not you pass the test tomorrow. Because all of it is making you stronger inside. All of it is shaping your future. You just can't see it yet. Every time you show up without chasing a reward, you build discipline. And the more disciplined you become, the easier it is to stay consistent. It becomes who you are, not just what you do. You don't need to force yourself anymore. It becomes natural. That's the goal. Not to need motivation every morning, not to depend on outside pressure, but to be the kind of person who does the work, because it's who you are now. You must resist the urge to measure your progress too often. That constant checking, that constant needing to know, it can make you impatient. It makes you forget that everything valuable takes time. Instead of checking for signs of success, focus on the effort. Focus on the structure you're building. Focus on getting better at showing up, not just getting closer to the finish line. Let the daily routine be the win. Let the practice be the reward. Because if you can find satisfaction in just doing the work, you take the pressure off. You stop obsessing over how far you've come. You start loving the fact that you didn't quit today, that you stayed the course again. That's where pride lives. That's where strength is born. And here's the truth most people ignore. Those results you're chasing, they come faster when you stop needing them. When you stop obsessing over the scoreboard and start focusing on playing the game the right way. When your identity becomes rooted in consistency, not outcome, everything changes. You're no longer chasing something. You're becoming something. Build routines that don't depend on feeling. Build systems that keep you on track when your mind is full of doubt. Write the plan and then follow it. Whether or not it feels exciting, whether or not it brings praise. Because when you live like that, you stop being controlled by the highs and lows. You start leading your own life. You'll have days where you want to quit, days where you feel like none of it matters. That's normal. But you don't listen to those thoughts. You return to the work. You remind yourself that success is not about feeling good. It's about staying in the process. Every day you stay consistent without needing anything in return. You grow stronger than the day before. That strength compounds. That discipline turns into identity. And one day, the results will show up. Not because you were lucky, but because you stayed the course. Because you kept your word. Because you learned how to stay consistent, even when no one was watching. And nothing seemed to change. That's what it takes. That's what wins. That's what lasts. Number 7. Take full responsibility and stop blaming your situation. Nothing changes in your life until you take responsibility for it. That's the starting point. If you keep pointing the finger, if you keep waiting for things around you to change, you stay stuck. Life becomes a loop, and no one breaks out of that loop until they stop blaming everything else and start looking at themselves. The truth is, most people waste years thinking their situation is holding them back. But it's not the situation, it's their response to it. You weren't dealt the same cards as everyone else. That's true. Some people had more help, some had fewer problems. But that doesn't mean they're the reason you're stuck. That doesn't give you permission to give up. It doesn't excuse you from doing your part. The day you stop making excuses is the day you start building a new path. A better path, one that leads to strength instead of frustration. Blame might feel good in the short term. It gives you something to lean on when things don't go your way. It makes you feel like it's not your fault. But that comfort turns into a trap. You stop growing. You stop improving. You start believing that nothing can change unless someone else fixes it. And that belief kills progress. You'll never build anything strong with that mindset. Responsibility is hard because it forces you to confront your part in where you are. It makes you ask tough questions. What could I have done better? What did I avoid? Where did I let myself off the hook? These questions aren't easy, but they're necessary because you can't improve what you won't admit. You can't grow from what you refuse to face. When you blame your situation, you give away your power. You hand control of your life to something outside of you. And once you do that, you have no say in how things go. But when you take full ownership, you get that power back. You stop waiting for someone to come rescue you. You realize you are the one who has to build the bridge forward. This shift is uncomfortable. It demands honesty. It requires you to stop lying to yourself. If you didn't put in the effort, you say it. If you wasted time, you own it. If you made bad choices, you admit it. That's where growth begins. Not from pretending, not from blaming, but from stepping up and saying, this is mine to fix. Taking responsibility doesn't mean beating yourself up. It doesn't mean walking around in shame. It means you recognize your role in what happens next. It means you accept that your actions matter, that what you do today will shape tomorrow, that no one else is coming to push you forward. That job is yours now. It's easy to say, my parents didn't support me, or I didn't have enough money, or people don't believe in me. But those stories don't help you win. They keep you locked in the past. They keep you angry. And anger without action just drains your energy. At some point you have to say, that may have been true, but I'm not going to let it decide my future. You can change your life, even if the odds are against you, but only if you accept the fact that you're the one who has to do it. No one's going to hand you the perfect moment. No one's going to give you everything you need. You have to work with what you've got. And that means making decisions from a place of strength, not from blame. Look around at people who have succeeded in anything meaningful. They all had problems. They all had setbacks. But they made a choice. They chose to take control of what they could. They chose to lead themselves. They didn't let their story become their excuse. They let it become fuel. Not because it was fair, but because it was necessary. There's power in saying, I'm in charge now. There's power in deciding that the past doesn't get to dictate what comes next. When you hold yourself to a higher standard, something changes inside you. You stop waiting for ideal conditions. You stop hoping someone else will fix it. You get to work, and every single time you do that, you build something solid. If your goal means anything to you, if your future matters at all, then stop wasting time blaming your situation. Start focusing on your habits, your mindset, your decisions, because those are the things you control. Those are the things that will move you forward or keep you stuck. And it's never the big things that hold us back. It's the daily choices we refuse to change. Every time you say, "This is on me," you move one step closer to progress. You create space to take action. You create space to improve. That's where discipline is born. In the quiet moments, when you decide to show up regardless of how things look. In the daily grind where you stop blaming and start building. You'll have bad days. You'll face obstacles. But if you keep taking responsibility, you keep growing. And if you keep growing, the situation doesn't control you anymore. You control how you rise from it. That's the key. That's how you build a life that doesn't depend on what happened, but on what you chose to do about it. Number 8, sacrifice distractions that steal time from your purpose. Every minute wasted on things that don't serve your goals is a minute lost forever. The truth is, distractions are everywhere. They come knocking when you're trying to focus. They whisper promises of comfort and quick relief. But every time you give in, you're taking time away from what truly matters. Time you can't get back. Time that could be used to build your dreams. The challenge is recognizing what's pulling you away and having the courage to cut it loose. Distractions often come dressed as harmless habits, scrolling through social media, binge-watching shows, mindless chatting, or just procrastinating. They seem small, even enjoyable at times, but they add up. They fill your day with noise that keeps you from clarity and action. When you let distractions run your schedule, you lose your power to control your time. And when time slips, so does your chance to reach your goals. Purpose demands attention. It requires sacrifice. When you want something badly enough, you'll notice that distractions aren't just annoyances. They're threats. They steal the energy, focus, and momentum you need to move forward. And the only way to win is by saying no. Saying no to the things that do not contribute to your growth. Saying no to the easy options that keep you comfortable, but stall your progress. Sacrifice isn't easy. It feels like giving up something you enjoy. It might feel like loneliness when others are relaxing or having fun and you're working. But that feeling is temporary. The satisfaction of moving closer to your goal lasts much longer. The pride you build from saying no to distractions far outweighs the momentary pleasure of giving in. You must decide which feeling you want to carry with you at the end of the day. Your purpose deserves your full attention. When you keep your focus sharp, you get more done in less time. You become more effective. You stop wasting energy on unimportant things. And this clarity creates a sense of control and confidence that carries over into every part of your life. When distractions are sacrificed, your purpose can breathe, grow, and thrive. It's important to be honest with yourself about what's stealing your time, which activities are truly serving your purpose, and which ones are simply filling time. Not all breaks or relaxations are distractions. But when those breaks take over and become a pattern, they turn into a trap. Identify those habits, and then start removing them one by one. Make room for your purpose to expand. Sacrifice also means setting boundaries. Saying no to friends, family, or even yourself when it's time to work. It means creating a space where distractions cannot easily reach you. That could mean turning off your phone, blocking apps, or setting specific work hours. Protecting your time is protecting your future. Every boundary you set strengthens your commitment. When distractions are sacrificed, your mind becomes clearer, your energy rises. You start feeling more in control of your day. You experience a new kind of freedom. Freedom from the chaos that confusion and wasted time bring. This freedom is powerful. It lets you channel everything into your goals without constant interruption. The path to your purpose is full of choices. Each choice shapes your day and ultimately your life. Choosing distraction feels good at the moment, but leads to regret. Choosing sacrifice feels difficult now, but builds confidence and pride. The more you choose your purpose, the easier it becomes. The more natural it feels to say no to what doesn't serve you. Sacrifice is not just about removing distractions. It's about making room for what matters most. It's about creating a clear space in your mind and schedule so your goals can grow. When you do this consistently, you notice your progress accelerate. You find yourself completing tasks faster and with more focus. Your dreams start feeling more possible because your actions reflect your priorities. This kind of sacrifice requires a strong mindset. It demands you be aware of what's important and willing to let go of what's easy. It asks you to look beyond today's comfort and choose tomorrow's success. This mindset isn't built overnight. It grows every time you say no to distractions and yes to purpose. You don't need to eliminate everything that brings joy or rest, but joy and rest should not come at the cost of your goals. Balance comes when you protect your time with intention, when you decide what's worth your energy and what isn't. When distractions are limited, your purpose takes center stage and guides your actions. Your time is one of the most valuable things you have. Every distraction you sacrifice adds minutes, hours, and days to the life you're building. Each choice to stay focused builds momentum and confidence. Over time, these small sacrifices become the foundation for huge achievements. In the moments when distractions call, remember why you started. Remember the future you're working for. Let that vision pull you back to focus. Let that vision make the sacrifices easier to accept. The momentary discomfort of saying no is nothing compared to the satisfaction of reaching your goal. Sacrificing distractions is not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. It's about making decisions with your future in mind. When distractions are sacrificed, your purpose gains strength, your actions gain clarity, and your goals become achievable instead of distant dreams. This is how progress happens. This is how you force yourself to achieve what you set out to do. Number 9. Follow your schedule exactly, even when it feels pointless. Sticking to your schedule is one of the most important habits you can build. Even when it feels like the work isn't making a difference, or the progress seems invisible. Following your plan is what separates those who reach their goals from those who fall short. There will be days when you feel drained, days when the excitement is gone, and days when everything feels pointless. But that's exactly when discipline shows its true power. When you commit to your schedule, you create structure in a world that often feels chaotic. The structure is not just about managing time. It's about training your mind to focus and your body to act without waiting for motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the weather. What you need is a steady rhythm, a plan that you follow no matter what. When you keep your appointments with yourself, you build trust in your own abilities. The feeling that what you're doing is pointless is normal. Everyone experiences it at some point. It's a test. The mind likes instant results, but most meaningful progress happens slowly. It's easy to forget that small steps add up over time. The process often looks invisible at first, but by following your schedule exactly, you are building momentum. You are making progress even when you can't see it yet. Ignoring your schedule because you feel doubtful or tired only pushes your goals further away. It creates a habit of giving up when things get tough. That habit is dangerous. It becomes a wall you can't climb later on. But when you show up and follow through despite those feelings, you build resilience. You develop a mindset that no matter what, you do what is necessary. This mindset becomes your greatest tool. When you follow your schedule, you eliminate the question of whether to work or not. That decision is made for you. Your schedule becomes your guide, your promise to yourself, and promises to yourself are sacred. If you can't keep those promises, how can you expect to keep promises to others? How can you expect to build anything meaningful? Sometimes the tasks on your schedule won't be exciting. They may feel repetitive or boring. You may wonder if these small, ordinary actions really matter. They do. Those small steps are the bricks in the foundation of your success. Every time you stick to your schedule, you lay another brick. It's slow work, but solid. the kind of work that lasts. It is also important to recognize that your schedule is a map, not a straight path. Life throws challenges, distractions, and setbacks your way. Some days you might need to adjust your plan, but the key is to follow the spirit of your schedule, the commitment to progress. The moment you stop seeing your schedule as a strict taskmaster and start seeing it as a promise to yourself, it changes how you approach it. Feeling like your efforts don't matter is part of the process. The key is not to let those feelings control you. Instead, use your schedule as a shield. It protects you from your own doubts and excuses. When you follow your schedule exactly, you are choosing action over hesitation. You are choosing growth over comfort. One way to strengthen this habit is by preparing your schedule realistically. When the plan matches your capacity and is broken down into clear steps, it becomes easier to follow. A good schedule doesn't overwhelm, but guides. It breaks big goals into small actions that fit into your day. This makes it less likely you'll feel overwhelmed or tempted to skip it. There will be moments when your mind protests loudly, when every reason to delay seems urgent. That's the battle zone, and the victory lies in persistence. The more you practice following your schedule, even when it feels pointless, the more your brain rewires itself to accept discipline as normal. You start rewiring your habits to support your success. Following your schedule exactly also teaches patience. It trains you to trust the process, even when results are hidden. This patience builds character. It keeps you focused on what you can control, your actions, not on unpredictable results. This mindset is essential because success doesn't come overnight. It comes to those who are willing to keep moving forward, step by step. The strength to follow your schedule comes from knowing why you set it in the first place. Your goals, your purpose, your reasons, they are the fuel. When you feel the task is pointless, remind yourself of your deeper why. Remind yourself of the person you want to become. That's what keeps the fire burning. Discipline and consistency often look boring from the outside. They're not flashy or exciting, but they produce results that last. Following your schedule is the vehicle for turning dreams into reality. Without it, you drift. With it, you steer. Even when the road looks empty, even when you don't feel motivated, the act of showing up and doing what's planned builds success. Every time you follow your schedule exactly, you build your confidence. You prove to yourself that you can be relied on. This confidence is powerful because it pushes you to keep going. It breaks down doubts and fears. It creates a foundation where your dreams can grow stronger. Discipline is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Following your schedule exactly is a way to exercise that muscle every single day. Over time, it becomes second nature. You don't question it. You just do it. This consistency is what turns ordinary people into achievers. Your schedule is your tool for taking control of your life. It's a plan that turns intentions into actions. By sticking to it, no matter how pointless it feels, you build the habit of commitment. You train your mind to move past excuses. You move closer to your goals every single day. Even if progress seems invisible today, following your schedule builds the foundation for success tomorrow. It creates a momentum that eventually becomes unstoppable. The only way to lose is to quit. The only way to win is to keep showing up and honoring your plan. That's how success happens. That's how you force yourself to achieve your goal. Number 10, hold yourself accountable even when no one is watching. Accountability is one of the most powerful forces that will drive you toward your goals. It doesn't matter if others are around or if you're alone in the room. The real test of commitment is how you behave when nobody is watching. That's when true character is revealed. Holding yourself accountable means you keep your promises to yourself without waiting for recognition or approval. It means you refuse to make excuses or hide from the truth of your actions. The challenge is that when no one is watching, it becomes easier to justify slipping up, skipping work, or pushing tasks aside. The temptation to delay or quit feels stronger because there is no external pressure. But relying on external motivation will only get you so far. When you rely solely on others to keep you on track, you give away your power. Real strength is born from self-discipline and internal honesty. Imagine the weight you carry when you allow yourself to be irresponsible. That feeling of guilt and shame creeps in quietly but steadily. It drags your confidence down. But when you choose to hold yourself accountable, you feel a sense of pride even in small victories. It's a feeling that comes from knowing you did what you said you would do. That feeling fuels the next action. It creates a positive cycle that builds momentum. Accountability to yourself requires brutal honesty. You must look at your daily choices clearly, without softening the truth. Did you put in the work today? Did you avoid distractions? Did you follow your schedule and push through resistance? If the answer is no, then you own it fully. There is no one else to blame. That ownership is uncomfortable, but it's also liberating. It frees you to make better choices, starting right now. When you hold yourself accountable, you build trust with yourself. This trust is foundational. Without it, your confidence erodes. Every promise you break weakens your belief in your own abilities. But every promise you keep, especially when no one is watching, strengthens your self-respect. This respect is the root of lasting motivation and self-worth. It's important to develop habits that support accountability. One way is to track your progress regularly. Writing down what you accomplish each day creates clarity. It forces you to confront what you have done and what remains undone. Another way is to set clear expectations for yourself with deadlines. When you create a timeline and stick to it, you hold yourself accountable in real terms. There will be moments when you want to hide your failures or pretend you did more than you actually did. That's natural. Everyone wants to look good, but growth comes from facing the truth open. When you admit where you fell short, you give yourself the chance to correct course. This honesty prevents small failures from turning into habit. Accountability is also about action, not just words. It's easy to say you'll do something, but much harder to actually do it. The difference between success and failure is taking consistent action, even when it's difficult or uncomfortable. When no one is watching, the temptation is to stop, but pushing through those moments trains your mind and body to perform under all conditions. Another critical part of accountability is learning to manage distractions and excuses. These are the biggest thieves of progress when no one else is around to remind you. Saying I'm too tired or I'll do it later are just stories you tell yourself. Accountability means recognizing these stories and refusing to accept them as truth. It means acting despite how you feel. Holding yourself accountable builds resilience. You develop a mental toughness that is necessary for long-term achievement. Life will challenge you in many ways, but if you have trained yourself to stay accountable in private, you will find the strength to face public challenges too. This inner strength grows over time with consistent practice. Sometimes accountability feels lonely because it's a personal battle. It requires self-motivation and self-control without external rewards or punishments. But the loneliness is temporary. What lasts is the confidence and integrity you build. You begin to understand that your success is in your hands alone. No one else can do the hard work for you. No one else will be there every day pushing you to stay committed. The act of holding yourself accountable also teaches humility. It reminds you that you are not perfect and that mistakes are part of the journey. When you embrace your imperfections honestly, you free yourself from shame and self-doubt. You learn to forgive yourself quickly and focus on moving forward. This mindset will transform how you approach your goal. Instead of waiting for external validation, you become your own source of motivation and discipline. You start to value your time and effort more deeply. You stop wasting energy on blaming circumstances or other people. Instead, you invest your energy in solutions and action. Your ability to hold yourself accountable will be tested often. You will face moments when quitting seems easier or when shortcuts look tempting, but the strength to resist comes from the habit of accountability. The more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, it feels strange not to keep your promises to yourself. In practical terms, create simple daily check-ins with yourself. Ask honest questions. Did I do what I planned today? Did I avoid distractions? What can I improve tomorrow? These questions keep you honest and focused. Writing down your answers can increase your commitment because it turns vague thoughts into clear records. Remember that accountability is a skill, not something you're born with. It takes time and effort to develop. You will slip up, you will fail. But each time you recommit and hold yourself accountable, you get stronger. You build a track record of success that pushes you forward. The journey to achieving your goals is personal. It requires you to be your own toughest coach. Holding yourself accountable even when no one is watching means you don't rely on applause or approval. You rely on your own integrity. That integrity shapes the person you become. In the end, success is not just about reaching the finish line. It's about becoming the kind of person who never stops trying. The person who stays committed even in the quiet, unseen moments. That is the power of accountability. It creates unstoppable momentum that carries you through challenge. It turns dreams into realities through daily acts of honesty and responsibility. Hold yourself accountable with courage and consistency. It is one of the strongest forces to force yourself to achieve your goals. Your future depends on how well you keep your promises today, when no one is watching.